The main technology change on Coraline compared to Nightmare Before Christmas was simply that we shot it digitally instead of film. It was just an easier thing to do, and shooting it in 3D. But the fact is, we did as much as we did in Nightmare to make it a handmade film, including animating trees, leaves. Lots of the effects are all done by hand because it was. If there's a choice between going CG or handmade, well, let's do it consistently. So it's actually it's super low tech, ancient craft. Stop motion is 108 years old. Then combined with just capturing digitally, and the new systems of projection that are so nice. There's even a home 3D version. It's okay. There'll be a better one in a few years.
I think everything Henry did was fundamentally handcrafted. Computers on Coraline were used in the same way that the people who made King Kong used painters and paintbrushes, which is to say, if you've got rigging, you need to paint out the rigging. If you've got a line or a wire or whatever you can see, you have to paint out the wire. And that would have been done on King Kong one frame at a time, and here it's done one frame at a time. The difference is that Henry's team are using computers, and the guys on King Kong were using paintbrushes. But it really is, this is what astonishes me about Coraline, is it's made with the same technology that Méliès used, that goes all the way back to the very beginning of silent film, where they discovered if they simply move something a frame at a time and keep the camera still, the thing moves.
There was no greater challenge than to get a studio to back the project. It's a scary film for children, and that frightens Hollywood, the same Hollywood that's happy to make Saw 4 and 5, and it's a strange culture here.
I don't think anybody at Comic-Con is going to tell you that Coraline is too dark. Some of them may complain there wasn't actually a scene with a chainsaw and animated 3D spurting stop motion blood, but you're not going to get a complaint that it was too dark here. No, I think the people at Comic-Con understand the imagination. People at Comic-Con love and treasure the imagination. This is what binds them. Whatever they are, whatever they look like, however they're dressed, whether they are studio suits or whether they are small comic store owners or whether they're writers or stars or whatever, the fans in the street and the fans in the corridors. What binds them is they love this stuff. They love thinking, they love dreaming, and that's why they're here.
The first Disney films, especially for their time, had very dark, scary things. Wicked Queen from Snow White tells the hunter to bring me the heart of the girl in the box. It's part of who we are, kids. Scary stories for kids. It's ancient. It's sort of probably someone was warning the kids, well, don't go near that cave. There's a bear that might eat you. And whoever was the best one at warning the kids became storytellers. It was. There's been scary cautionary tales forever, and it's a total bullshit thing to pretend that we'll keep them safe by feeding them pablum. They'll find the scary stuff on their own, and it's better to use that as an element in our stories for them.
Now, talk a little bit about the way you use 3D, because it's not that gimmicky way that we've been accustomed to, but it's very much, it just kind of pulls you into the film instead of being the pointing at the camera thing.
I was, looking for my Wizard of Oz transition idea from, in Wizard of Oz, black and white to color. I wanted to go from a more confined world, limited, claustrophobic at times, to a world that felt deep. So instead of punching your eyes out too much, I'd probably do it 2 or 3 times, we made the sets deep and turned up the 3D when Coraline discovers this other world that's supposed to be better. So it was always about sort of trying to draw the audience into the other world as Coraline was initially drawn into it.
Now, do you feel that the way technology is changing is making it easier to bring some of your stories to the screen in a way that kind of matches what you imagine them to be?
Yeah, no, I think one reason why comics have become such an incredibly fertile source of inspiration for Hollywood and for the world is that it's so easy. Special effects are getting easier. You just have to take a look at something like the 1940s Batman serial to see, or worse, the Captain Marvel serial or whatever. You're seeing stuff where it's what could people do in the way of special effects with old-fashioned cameras and what you can see through your viewfinder. And you wind up with Superman leaping through windows and bouncing onto a trampoline off screen. Now, if you can dream it, you can probably put it on screen, and you can put it on screen more cheaply than you could have put it on screen 2 years ago, and 100 times more cheaply than you could have done 10, 15, 20 years ago. The joy of stop-motion animation is that it's a very specific and very beautiful craft, and it's not going to date in the same way that now if you try and watch Toy Story, you're sitting there continuously being thrown out of the movie by pondering how antiquated the look of the movie is. You sort of have to work a little harder to get into the film. I don't think that would happen with Coraline. This is the cutting edge of the doll maker's art, but that craft is hidden under the surface. You can't see the titanium joints.